Hi everyone, this is Team Hoping for a C++, and here's our analysis of drug use/misuse in the German armed forces. First, we took a look at the popularity of all the drugs categorized as pain relievers. These are prescription drugs that decrease the physical feeling of pain in addition to reducing the emotional response to pain. The demographic that we hypothesized that is likely to use painkillers are those who served in the military, so we decided to focus on that group. The left graph shows popularity in the entire dataset, while the right graph shows popularity for those who identified as soldiers or veterans. The graphs are similar, as codeine was by far the most popular drug for both groups, followed by fentanyl and tramadol. The popularity of the other drugs varies slightly. We wanted to dive deeper and see if there is misuse of painkillers among members of the military. The way we examine drug misuse and possible abuse is by looking at consumption of a certain drug without a prescription or doctor's recommendation. Here we have the top 6 drugs with the highest percentage of non-prescription use among those with lifetime use of a substance. On the left is percent of non-prescription use in all of the participants in the survey, and on the right is the percent of non-prescription use in soldiers and veterans. The top 5 drugs are the same between the two tables, but the order is slightly different. We found that there's an increase in 4 out of the 5 drugs among military members compared to the sample population. After looking at the drugs with the highest percentage of non-prescription use in both groups, we also want to see which drugs have the largest disparity between all the data points and military use. In these donut graphs, no stands for drug use with prescription, and the yes stands for non-prescription use. So as we can see here, fentanyl had the greatest difference with 11.9%, followed by buprenorphine with 11.4%. Next, we have tapentadol with 10% difference, and then stimulants with a 6.4% difference. So according to drugfree.org, fentanyl, buprenorphine, and which is the 2 drugs on the previous slide, and tapentadol, they're all controlled narcotics with a high risk for addiction and dependence. So later, we tried to look for possible explanations of why these painkillers were so popular with soldiers and veterans, and why stimulants are more popular as well. So before that, we graphed all the drugs and the percentages of lifetime users that consumed them without prescription. So here the bars represent percentages from the population, while the line shows percentages from the armed forces. The drugs on the x-axis with a asterisk are the ones that are not narcotics. So we see that overall the percent of armed forces either have around the same or have a higher percent of non-prescription use compared to the population. And here is the same data in a different graph style. So the blue line represents the population, and the orange line represents the armed forces. In order to understand why narcotics misuse seems higher with soldiers and veterans, we looked at acute and chronic pain among veterans. We found that 57.6% of vets have suffered acute pain that require medical attention, and about 37% of vets suffer from chronic pain over various time periods. The range of time periods are represented by numbers 2 through 5 on the right graph, with 2 representing chronic pain in the last week and 5 representing lifetime chronic pain. So it's possible that the presence of acute and chronic pain is why pain-relieving narcotics may be misused with soldiers and veterans. Finally, we want to take a look at mental illness among soldiers and veterans. The above graphic shows the count for different mental illnesses for veterans. We were most interested in ADHD, as we want to see if it's a reason why stimulants, which treat ADD and ADHD, why they were popular. In the non-military population of the dataset, 290 out of 13,186 people, or about 22.2%, had ADHD. In the military population of the dataset, 65 out of 1,865 people, or about 3.5%, had ADHD. So it's not a significantly greater percentage, but it's possible that this is related to the greater popularity of stimulants among soldiers and veterans. So in conclusion, we found that in this dataset, the percentage of soldiers and veterans who consumed non-prescription drugs was greater than that of the sample population in 7 out of the 14 total narcotics. And we examined possible causes of this. That's all, and thank you everyone for watching.